I would like an apology, by the way. Can I get an apology from you guys? I made this video 2 days ago predicting the next SF6 balance patch, where I put out my predictions for the next update. And everyone was beating my ass to death in the comments. Like, this guy really making a patch prediction video, even though the next update's not for another 6 months? You guys underestimate my powers of prediction, because literally 24 hours after I uploaded this video, Street Fighter, there will be a battle balance update on December 2nd for Street Fighter 6. Although this won't be a major update like the Akuma one, all characters will receive changes. We'll publish the battle change list when maintenance starts on December 1st at 8 PM PT, which is 4 AM UK time. My ass will be asleep. So we are getting, I assume this is going to be like the equivalent of the mid-season changes that we used to get in Street Fighter V. Like in Street Fighter V, they used to do 2 balance patches a year. There was like the big one at the start of a season, and then there was like a smaller one after a few months. So I guess that's what we're expecting here. There is going to be an Undead Unluck collab, which is good news for me and the 5 other people that I know that really like Undead Unluck. This series kind of goes hard, so that's good news for me. So like I don't really want to sit here and spend the next fucking 45 minutes speculating about what I think is going to change. Certainly, I want to be clear up front. There is a 0.001% chance that this is throw loop related. I just want to be clear. I've seen some people being like, holy shit, they might remove throw loops in this update. That's not happening. I'm sorry. Stop coping. To remove throw loops would require a lot of careful changing, and that's not the kind of thing that you do in like a mini mid-season balance patch. I don't know, here's an idea. You know how every balance update, I make one of those videos where I try and do what I would do? Like my set of changes if I was given control over the update. I usually limit myself to 2 changes per character, right? We have this thing on this channel called the 2 change challenge, where I do 2 changes per character, rebalance the game. Because this is a small update, they're saying it's not going to be a major balance patch, I'm going to half that. So we are going to do the 1 change challenge here, and you might not like some of the changes that I make to your mains. Sub or they buff Cammy. Yeah, you guys, if you don't sub to this YouTube channel, Capcom will buff Cammy. This is a real threat. It will happen. I just got off the phone with John Capcom, CEO of Capcom Industries, and he said that if you don't subscribe, Cammy is getting buffed. So better press that button. All right, I'm just gonna do them in the order they appear on this list that I've got. So Ryu. Ryu's fine the way he is. I don't know. Ryu's one of those characters where I feel like he doesn't need any changes. Like, if you bring the top characters down a little bit, he's fine. This could be a 0 change challenge for Ryu. I tell you what, we'll do that. We'll just say no changes, because I think there's a few characters that are actually in a perfectly good spot right now, and Ryu is one of them. This is like the power level the game should be, I think. We're gonna do Luke. No changes? Is this game balanced? Is this what we're realizing right now? They said everyone is getting changes? Alright. Since everyone's getting changes according to the balance patch, we're gonna get, say, hairstyle improved. Luke might also be in the fine category. I swear there are gonna be more changes as we go, but like, I don't feel like Luke really needs that much. We're not buffing him back to Season 1. We're not undoing the Season 2 changes. There will be actual changes, but I also think Luke is in a pretty good spot right now. Alright, here's a character that we do actually need to make a change to. I'm gonna say Jamie. Add EX drink. Adds to drink levels. Slightly longer animation than regular drink. So I hate any Jamie suggestion that involves skipping drinks entirely. Like, I really get annoyed when I see people be like, let's get rid of level 1, or like, Jamie starts at level 2 or whatever. I think any suggestion which like removes a character's uniqueness sucks. So rather than that, I'm gonna just give him more ways to get level ups. So we're gonna add an EX version of his drink. Chun-Li. Give her a throw loop. Bigger thighs. Oh, that's a good suggestion. I'll take that one. Yeah, okay. Level 1 super damage increased from, I think, is it 1700 right now? This thing does no damage. It is 1700 right now. 2000 is like the default in this game. 2000 is like the standard level 1 damage. Guile is always impossible for me because, like, how do you nerf a character that is just 2 specials? Change of plans. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make this -5. And that doesn't seem like a big difference. One less frame of advantage on Bazooka Knee, but the important thing here is that now point blank drive rush Bazooka Knee is actually minus. Like, I think it's really dumb that like Guile can miss space, drive rush Bazooka Knee, and be 0. I think that's good, because I think Guile's zoning, I don't really want to touch Guile's zoning. I just want to tone down his fireball drive rush a little bit, because that's a little bit much. I'm gonna go with that. This is a minor balance patch, remember. We're not gonna completely redesign characters here. Should I do it? Should I do it? In a way, here's the thing, right? Objectively, the thing about this change is, objectively, this is a massive buff for Kimberly. However, I have a theory that this is actually a nerf, because Kimberly players have the most idiotic sense of risk-reward in the universe. And I think if you give them an invincible reversal, they will kill themselves with it even faster. So I actually think, on paper, this is a buff, but in practice, this is actually a nerf. I feel like my win rate against Kimberly players will actually go up if I give them this, because now they'll just start spinning on every knockdown. Like giving a baby a pair of scissors. Exactly. Alright, Jury. This might be a good one. That was a good suggestion I saw. That might be a spite-based change, though. So, I'm sure the Jury players are going to beat me up for saying this, but I'm going to say this. The ultimate anti-air counter hit your ass out of startup move. This thing right here. I don't think there's a single jump normal in the game that you can press as early as this fucking thing. And also, she comes down on like left or right side, and good luck figuring out where she's going to reappear. You can literally press this thing on the way up. Like, that's how crazy active this thing is. Maybe it should lose some active frames. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe rather than making it minus, just take out a couple of active frames. Keep the frame advantage, but I'm going to tone down the active frames. You should not be able to press a jump normal that early and have it still connect. Slightly less evil change. Okay, let's move on. Ken, I know exactly what I'm gonna do to this character. I have been talking about this change for like 2 years at this point. I don't even have to think about this. Now, bear with me. Bear with me. I'm cooking here, but bear with me, because you might see these first 4 words and think that what the fuck is he talking about? But bear with me here. I will explain. The Ken lobbyist got to him. Now, trust me. This is a huge nerf to Jinrai, but it also buffs it in a kind of obscure way, and also spell check doesn't like Jinrai. So like, I think right now Jinrai is a badly designed move, because it's basically a situation now where some characters can punish it every single time without even having to think, and the other half of the cast basically never get to punish it ever. It's really weird. So like, if you have a EX DP with good range, for example, EX Flash Kick, like an invincible reversal with good range that's less than, I think, 7 frames startup, you literally never have to respect Jinrai, because if they stop after the first kick, that's a punish, and if they decide to go for the second kick, it's still a punish. Guile never really has to give a shit about Jinrai. I've never seen a Guile player complain about Jinrai. But then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're playing like, I don't know, Zangief, for example, and you read that the Ken player is going to go for the follow-up here, what is your actual answer here? The first and second hits of Jinrai, medium Jinrai specifically, are a frame trap. So for any character without like a good reversal, you just straight up can't even like challenge this autopilot string. And like, a lot of Ken players will get extremely huge amounts of momentum from just spamming Stand Fierce into medium Jinrai over and over and over again. So what I'm proposing here, my suggested change, is that we make it so that if you correctly read that the Ken player is going to autopilot into the follow-up, rather than being left here, you're left here. And then every single character in the game can get a punish on Ken. I don't understand now why it's so split, but to make up for that fact, to kind of like give him a small buff to offset that situation, I've said that what they should also do is make this first hit also -5, because right now it's -7. If it was changed so that this was -5 as well, it basically turns into a mind game where the defender actually has good counterplay. Like, will he continue and go for the frame trap, or will he just stop after 1? There is kind of a mix-up there. It's kind of like turning it into a wrecker, basically. Yeah, it's like Jamie's Rekka. Jamie can do one Rekka, which is -6, and you can go for a punish. But if the Jamie player predicts you're going to try and punish the first Rekka, they can then frame trap into an extra Rekka, which is also very unsafe. Rather than Jinrai right now, where it's just like, can you punish it? Yes, no. There's no real mind game happening there. Don't you think Kim would be broken with an invincible reversal? No, I don't. She had an invincible reversal in the first beta, and she wasn't broken in that. I feel like I do want to give Blanka a buff that improves his punish on drive reversal. Is there a way we can buff Blanka without giving him a fucking dumbass 6-frame medium? I guess you could do this. This kind of goes against the universal system mechanics, but you could do this. Crouch LP, not subject to jab scaling as a starter. But that's kind of a wonky way of doing it. But basically this would mean that you could start a punish with crouch jab, and you wouldn't immediately have your scaling killed. But like, would that have too many knock-on effects? So I guess I'll go with that, but it's a pretty ugly change. It kind of goes against universal system mechanics, but I can't think of a way of doing this without making one of his mediums a 6-frame, and I don't want to do that. Dhalsim. I'm going to make the same change that I think I made in my Season 2 version of this video, and everyone kept screaming at me that it was too good of a buff, but I stand by this one. I think that would be not overpowered, but I just think it's stupid when I'm watching like high-level Dhalsim gameplay, and I see this. So like, how much startup has this got? By the way, I just want to say, this is a 14-frame anti-air, and it's a normal, so it's like not invincible or anything. This is a slow-ass anti-air, and to be honest, if you get anti-aired by a 14-frame normal, you kind of deserve to take some damage here. So like, I see high-level Dhalsim players manage to anti-air with this thing, and they try and go for a drive rush extension, and this happens. They spend 3 bars of drive, expecting the opponent to press a button on the way down, and they get nothing out of it. So I think this should just have the same properties that it has right now on counter hit. If you counter hit a jump normal, this gives a juggle. I forget what the juggle is. It's like this or something. I just think this juggle should happen regardless of if it counter hits or not. Honda. I think in my last one of these, I basically just said that it's impossible to change Honda with one change. I'd want 4 MK to be 6 frames so he gets a decent punish off drive reversal. That's just stand medium kick. There is no 4 MK. You want this to be 6 frames? What if we make this 6 frames? Why don't we just make his command grab 6 frames? And that would give him a decent punish on drive. How much does this do on punish counter? 2760? I don't think, it's not like he's got any like egregiously plus normals that this would create like a horrible tick throw situation from. All versions of command grab, including EX, are now 6 frames, which makes them punish on drive reversal. I think that's good because it doesn't excessively buff his punish game. Really generous ... Look, you're lucky you're getting anything, alright? These Christmas presents are delivered through gritted teeth, because I do not like this character. DJ. Everyone's asking for nerfs, even though he's not like that dominating this season. That's the thing about DJ. I think everyone just hates fighting against him. Everyone wants nerfs, but no one's brave enough to admit that he doesn't actually really need to be nerfed. DJ is fine. I kind of agree with that. I think DJ might be another case of just leave him for the time being. Alright, let's do this. No changes to DJ, but all DJ players must be forced to play USF4 DJ once per year as a reminder to stay humble. We're moving on. I think that's a good one. Manon. What do the Manon players actually want? I'm opening the floor to the Manon army. Like, what would you actually realistically want for Christmas? I'm looking at my naughty and nice list right now, and I'm considering the options. I'm not giving her a faster drive rush. Light counter hit into a medium? Does she not have that right now? Can she not do counter hit light to medium? So what is this by default? This has got to be +4 on hit, and this is 7 frames. I'm gonna give you that one. That was the only suggestion that didn't make me want to throw up. We're gonna make stand jab +5 on hit, up from +4, which means that it will link the crouch medium punch on counter hit. Take it or leave it. Remember, Capcom said this was a small update, so I'm keeping that thought process in mind for all of my changes, except for the Kimberly one, which I just ignored that rule for some reason. Marissa. Armor with a U. I think we'll do that. I think she's earned that one by now. Only EX though. Only EX. We're not doing it for all versions, we're just doing it from EX. Considering that it's a 2-bar investment, it is pretty silly that this big chargeable armored punch just completely gets smoked by lows. And not even necessarily lows, by the way. I think we've talked about this recently, but just to reiterate, it's not just lows, it's any move that hits like below the thighs. Doesn't have to actually be a low. So like this is not a low, but like the fact that I can just like walk up and just knock you out of this like big massive armored punch, even the EX version, a little bit silly. So we're gonna make that full body armor. JP. If I see anyone suggest JP's crouch medium punch should be 6 frames, you're gonna get permanently banned from this stream. Make it 2 frames? You think you can get away with a technicality? I'm thinking I might go with a very small buff that's more like a consistency thing. I don't know. Tell me if I'm going crazy with this one, but here's the suggestion. That's a tiny buff. And the reason that I say this, and from my own experience as a JP player, is there was so many situations where I would be playing footsies with someone at like this range. I would hit them with like counter hit. By the way, bearing in mind this is counter hit only, this does not work on regular hit, but I would hit like counter hit crouch medium kick, and the link into stand light kick would drop. This is past broski frustrations activating right now. But you'd be surprised how finicky this link is right here. Like you can see that even like reasonably close, it drops a lot. So I'm not saying give him any new combos. I'm not saying make this a combo without counter hit. You know, just a reminder, this is not, he can't link at anything off crouch medium kick without counter hit. Just slightly reduce the pushback, so this is just a little bit more consistent from like this range. Zangief. Ooh, which way will Caesar go on this one? SPD now heals the opponent. I think I'm gonna go with a small nerf. This is my change. You might not even know what I'm cooking here, but let me just explain real quick. It's a fairly minor nerf. Like, if you're a good Geef player, this should not really affect you at all. But, like, literally the entire point of this target combo right here is to hit confirm it. So it has a gigantic hit confirm window. This is supposed to be single hit confirmed, this target combo. But the amount of times I see Geef players just completely guess and go into the follow-up and face basically no consequences, because for some reason the second hit is still only -6, and -6 at this distance is basically safe for like 99.9% of the cast. So I feel like if the move is designed specifically to be single hit confirmed, if you fail that hit confirm, you should actually be vulnerable to a punish. I don't like the fact that this is so safe when the Geef player just keeps continuing the target combo. For most Geef players, this won't affect anything because you should be hit confirming this thing. But I do think it's slightly annoying when the Geef player messes up the confirm and doesn't suffer consequences for it. Who we got next? Lily. Oh god. I'm gonna give her a buff, but what we're gonna do with this. Forward HP target combo. Final hit. Now super cancelable and cancelable into LP win stock only. Just the light version. This target combo, I talked about it in a previous video, is absolute fucking trash, and there's no reason to ever use it. This is the target combo. Forward heavy punch into heavy punch, heavy punch. Damage sucks. It is confirmable. You can single hit confirm this target combo. The damage is bad, the Oki is bad, and it doesn't lead to anything. So basically all I'm saying is the final hit of this, you can super cancel. And also the final hit, you can cancel into this. Only the light version. So no, you don't get any combo extensions or anything. But at the very least, you can choose to either go for a super or get a win stock out of it. But that's it, nothing else. So I think that's a pretty reasonable change. That's a nice idea, streamer, but honestly, just make crouch heavy punch hit full screen. It already does, that's not a buff. That's just the way it works right now. And the final member of the base roster before we move on to the DLC, Cammy. Cammy obviously is going to get a nerf. I'm not sure how to do it in one change though. What's the priority here? Let me think. Break her legs, remove her legs, make her bald. All good suggestions. Not sure they help us though. I think the only way that we can do this with one change might actually be to do this. I think this is the only way we can do this with one change. We're not going down to Akuma levels. She's not 9k smile, but we are reducing it to 9.5k. Normally, I would be very against character health changes, but since Capcom has now said that they're open to characters having less than 10k, they've opened the floodgates now. So this means that she still keeps all of her extremely strong tools. She just now actually feels more like the glass cannon that she's supposed to be. Because that's kind of Cammy's whole thing. Like in most of the recent Street Fighter games, Cammy is usually given very strong tools, but then she's also pretty, you know, low health generally. Even though I've said in the past that I don't like using HP as a balancing mechanism, I think this is the best thing we can do with one change. Alright, we're moving on to the DLC characters, and boy do some of them need toning down. We're going to do them in order, so... Rashid of the Turbulent Wind. Kill that tornado, kill that tornado. We're definitely going to go for level 2 change. But I'm going to go with a level 2 change that's not the one that Rashid players want. This one would actually genuinely impact level 2. Damage scaling? Nope. Rashid players will tell me that I've gone too far. This is a nerf. This is a huge nerf. The thing about this goddamn super is it's just active way too long. So I'm not toning down the combos. I'm not toning down the utility of it. I'm not toning down the fact that it creates a giant wall that you can't get through. All I'm saying is that I don't think this thing should travel so slowly that it gives you complete screen control for the next, like, 10 seconds. Maybe not doubled. Doubled might be a bit much. That would go very fast. I'm gonna tone down my wording on that one. I'm gonna change my wording slightly. I'm just gonna say, for the sake of giving myself an out here, I'm gonna say increased. The idea being that you would still get a strong situation here. You could still get like a throw mix-up and then probably Oki afterwards. But you just don't get to do like 2 throws and still have the tornado slowly closing in on you. Next DLC character, Aki. You guys ever heard of Aki? So she's this character that I've heard of and I think she's pretty cool. I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter the other day. I don't think Aki needs any changes. I think she's fine the way she is. Call that downplaying, call that upplaying, call it whatever you want. Because this is my own list, I am going to give myself a selfish small buff, tiny buff, minuscule buff. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. For 99% of matchups, this makes absolutely no difference. All this does is give you a slightly more reliable anti-air against characters that can stall their air momentum. So like Cammy and Akuma, basically. That's all this does. Absolutely not. Abuse of power. Go make your own lists. Capcom gave me creative control and I'm gonna abuse it right now. But like I said, she doesn't need any buffs. She's fine the way she is. I'm just being selfish right here. Who came out after Aki? It was Ed, right? Okay. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but I actually don't think I'm going to make any changes to his level 2. His level 2 is still really fucking good, and a lot of the highlight clips of Ed usually involve him doing obscene damage and corner carry and meter build with level 2. But I'm actually going to go for Flicker instead, because I think Flicker is actually the real menace hiding in the dark. Alright, I've got an idea. This is my suggestion. This was a change that they actually made to DJ. I'm actually going to kind of steal a DJ nerf from last season that I really liked. We're going to add extra recovery to Flicker, but only in the specific case that it makes contact with the drive impact. Capcom added a special extra script to DJ's Sway Low. And what this script does is it keeps Sway Low's frame data exactly the same. This thing is still safe on block. But what it does is that if this thing is armored with a drive impact, it gains extra recovery and makes drive impact a much more consistent punish. Like last season, it was extremely difficult to DI punish this thing. He would almost always recover first and then be able to DI back. So I like this change a lot. And I think they should make this exact same change to Flicker because... mainly because of one specific Oki setup. This one. After forward throw in the corner, meaty Flicker here is outrageously powerful because this is a projectile and it's so far away that like basically no counterplay really exists. I just want to go through like all the defensive options you have here. So, wake up super doesn't work because Flicker is a projectile. Wake up DP doesn't work because Ed is half screen away. Wake up, I don't know, level 3 Still doesn't work because Ed is too far away. This covers way too many options as a meaty, I think. Oh, you can't DI it, by the way. That's what I was getting at. DI here is not guaranteed. He can DI back after a meaty flicker. See? It's not guaranteed. So I do think this covers too many options. Right now, literally the only option is perfect parry into drive rush. And that's extremely hard to do consistently. Yeah, there you go. Like, that is extremely hard to do. You have to perfect parry, option select into a drive rush, and that's basically your only way of punishing this setup. Everything else just straight up does not work. So I just think what we should do is make it so that if you DI a flicker, even as a meaty, they should do the same thing they did with DJ and just give it extra recovery frames. So this DI is actually a punish. And it would create a mind game. It's not like DI would just be autopilot here, because Ed can still just do this. He can still just do that. He still can just backdash cancel to bait out the DI. It just gives you more of a mind game. There's more going on here. So this is a minor nerf, but it would just make this specific Oki setup like not so overwhelming. Okay, so after Ed, it was Akuma. Oh boy. I feel like a kid in a candy shop. I've got one Akuma shot to take. I got one bullet in the chamber. Actually, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't... I was feeling powerful for a second that I get to nerf Akuma, but everything about this fucking character is obscene. One change is not going to cut it. I don't know. To me, this is like cutting off like one head of the Hydra, you know? You get to cut off one head, but it's still going to grow back 50 more. Oh man, what do we do here? How do I make one change that has the most possible impact? Alright, I've got one. I don't think this is going to be enough to bring him down, but I've got one that I like. I like that. I like this because I was thinking of ways to like tone down Demon Flip as a corner escape without actually killing it as an Oki tool. Because the problem is if you just cut down the travel distance on Demon Flip, you kill a lot of his Oki. Like empty Demon Flip is required for a lot of his knockdown Oki. So the idea here is that he can still do empty Demon Flip to get Oki, he just can't use it to yeet out of the corner anymore. Because this thing as a corner escape is so fucking stupid. I can't stress enough how much I hate this thing as a corner escape. Yeah, so like, I think it's very, very annoying, and I hate it, that like, if I say I have Akuma cornered, like the Akuma player is in the corner, and you want to maintain corner pressure, because in Street Fighter, generally, being cornered is a bad thing, but, like, that doesn't apply to Akuma right now because of, like, this thing. It is so quick and hard to react to, and it looks so similar to other versions of Demon Flip. You have so little time to react to the fact that it's heavy kick before he gets behind you and makes your anti-air whiff. I just think this is way too good as a corner escape. But I think we keep the tracking so that, like, after this, for example, this is still Oki. This would remove his ability to side switch after this knockdown. He would always land in front, but he would still get Oki. That's the best I can do with one change. I think that's also a change focused on making him less frustrating to fight, personally. It's not necessarily a nerf that's targeted at, like, damaging his kit the most. I just think that would make him significantly less annoying. Yeah, I think a lot of the cast would benefit from that change. Who was after Akuma? Oh, Bison. Bison's easy. We can do Bison's easy. EX Psycho Crusher with bomb attached. Significant scaling increase. Comma. Also leaves point blank on block. Now, you may be saying to yourself, did you really just make two separate nerfs and then pretend that they were one nerf by adding a comma in the middle? And the answer is yes, I did do that, and I don't plan on answering for that fact. My list, my rules. I mean, this is obvious stuff. We like, the thing about Bison right now is just he does way too much damage. There's not much more to it than that. It's too easy for him to just set up his damage condition and then just obliterate you from, like, any stray hit. So we're just going to increase his damage scaling and then also make it so that random EX Psycho Crusher in neutral actually means that he has to, like, risk, like, a throw shimmy mix-up afterwards. Because right now he's -3, but also, like, way too far away. Technically 2 changes, but I put a comma in to trick you guys. Is that the last character? Who am I forgetting? I forgot about Terry. Yeah, Terry. Terry exists. Terry probably needs a buff. He does need like quite a few frame data tweaks, but probably the stand medium punch one would work the best. What is it right now? Hang on. It's +1 on hit. Oh yeah, making it more plus would also make... That's a good idea, actually. I've just thought about it. So making this normal more plus than +1 is already a good idea, but I also think the cool side effect is that it would make this a native combo, which it should be. I don't really know why they decided to make it so that this combo doesn't work without, like, counter hit or drive rush. So I think we get 2 birds with 1 stone here. So I'm going to make this stand medium punch go from +1 on hit to +3. And I'm picking +3 because that means that on counter hit, you'd be able to link into stand light kick. So this would be a combo on counter hit. And also it would make this just combo by default, which I think are both useful changes. And also it would link into itself on punish counter. That would be a combo too. Alright, I think we're done. We're done here. So anyway, like I said, those are just like what I think would be some fun changes that would help balance the game. With only 1 change to each character. I'm not saying, I want to stress, that is not my predictions for the update. That is not what I think Capcom will do. That is just what I would do if they gave me the wheel. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have got any suggestions of your own. And I will catch you guys all in the next video.